Welcome in, everyone. Today is 2/6/2024, and we have two trade recaps to go over. We have a public AMD trade idea, and we have a Discord only Delta Airlines trade idea. So, we're going to start out with the AMD trade idea. I'm going to touch on the momentum entry and the regular entry, and then I'm going to move over to Delta Airlines. So, let's get started here. And again, the AMD trade idea was a public free Twitter idea, so you can go back and see. I have all the notes posted on there as well. So, a couple things with AMD. First, I'm going to touch on the momentum entry. So, I initially had a momentum entry 182.5 call greater than 172.59, and again, momentum entry. So, we're going to first touch on this, then move back to the watch list. So, looking at AMD again, this was called out before open. So my idea was we were sitting down here chopping, and again, I had made a note here as well. So I wanted to see that pullback before open, and we had to open under the idea for it to be valid. So we didn't open under that, but let's go back to here and look. So pretty much right after I posted that, we saw that little pump, and that pump from 172.59 all the way up to 173.89. So we had that dollar move, which I was looking for that quick pump on AMD at open. So we kind of got that pre-market. So again, that was scratched. And again, I put notes out so everybody can see that. And I really, really want everybody to read the notes. I don't put the notes out for fun. So now touching on our lower entry. So I'm going to pull this back up here again. So that was scratched pretty much. And I did make another note again 2 minutes right before open, so keeping both entries on there as well. So our lower entry on AMD was 169.61. So I did get a couple questions on this, so I'll kind of dive into this a little deeper. So here is our 160. What did I? Oh, I was looking at Amazon. 169.61. So here we are, 169.61. And a tip I like to do, I always like to put two alerts. I put an alert depending on how fast the stock is as a mover. I like to put an alert so I have time to queue up my contracts, etc., all that stuff. So you can see 169.61 here, and we triggered at 8:48. And if you missed that quick trigger, you could have got filled here at 8:49. And then we had this huge candle up, so 169.61, and we peaked at 170.64. This is almost a dollar move in 2 minutes. This is a very, very quick trade, and I do understand it can be kind of hard to scalp one of these, and I'm going to go over the contract too a little bit after this, but kind of just touching on the trade. This is a very, very quick trade, and I had a question about, can I mark these if they're riskier trades? All trades are going to be risky. I'm always looking for that 2-to-1 reward ratio. And this did hit 20%. I'll show everybody on the contract here as well. So this was just quick. And one thing too, don't wait for me to put notes out on these trades, because I am trading these as well too. If my internet went out or something and you're waiting for me to put a note out and the stock is just falling, when you see profits, you need to be diligent in adjusting your stops up and securing profits, because we were green for 1, 2, 3 minutes here. How many times can you click your mouse in 3 minutes? This should not be a red trade. So again, here's the time. So you could have took the trigger at 8:48 or 8:49. So we'll look at the contract here, and ended up taking the 170 call, and I did mark this out already a little bit. Or I thought I did, apparently not. So 840. Okay, it was the 172.5, sorry. So back to 848 here. Let's come back here. So here is your entry right here. Okay, I'm a little Why am I blanking here? Okay, we did the 180 call. I was confused there for a second. I'm like, I have this all marked out and everything, but I can't find it. So, okay, 180 call. Entry was at 840. Why am I blinking? Yeah, I had this all marked out earlier, but kind of delete that out. Okay, so entry 848, 849, 180 call. So 848, 849, 180 call. So here is, where's our 848? 848 right in here. So here is your entry, and if you would have took that 180 call and even the 177.5, well, okay, it's the 177.5 that I had marked off. So okay, we'll start with this and I'll touch on the 180 after. So 848, 849 could have got filled about 102, 101 depending on your fill, but we come all the way up to 122. That's a 22% return. Again, I'm looking for that 2-to-1 risk reward ratio. I know this is a very quick trade, but 3-4 minutes in a quick scale to adjust stops up. Even here, if you would have came down here and hit 104, you still had that pump back up to 109. So you should have at least got out 10%. I actually got 15% on this, but I was trading Delta Airlines at the time, which I'll touch on after this too. So this was about a 20% return here. It's quick. You have to be quick in trading, and you never know. Not all trades are going to be perfect and just shoot back up and give you 3 hours to size out and all that. You have to be quick and agile in trading. So keep that in mind when you're doing that. So let's look at the 180 call here as well. So again, this would have been your trigger at 8:48. I'm Central Time, so anybody that wants to go look, feel free to pull up your charts and look. So again, 68 to 80. Good return. You have enough time to get out. And if you don't fill, you don't have to chase. You don't have to chase. There's no need to chase. There's always another trade. So, and again, also with that, I want to pull up. So for those that are not in Discord, I always do like to throw in notes. I try to get them up on Twitter as quick as possible, but I'll always try to throw in trade notes and what I'm doing with notes as well here. I mean, telling everybody this is the only entry on AMD, going to adjust stops up here on AMD, and I'm putting notes out, so I'm trying to adjust stuff up at the same time as well. So it's you have to be quick, but I don't obviously like calling out trades that are quick like this. I like time to be able to size out, etc. So that is kind of our AMD trade. I'm just going to go back over it one more quick time here. So again, here was your, obviously I would have liked it to bounce up more and just stay up so we could size out properly, but you have to adjust in trading. But here's our, almost $1 move here in 2 minutes. That's a quick bounce. So that is AMD. And now moving over to Delta. So Delta was a Discord only trade idea, and I will pull that up here. So here is our Delta Airlines. This was actually, I put this out Friday night. So we had, looking at the flow here, so obviously we had the repeated hits on the 216.41 call. Pointed out some stuff on the chart, and I'll go over the chart here as well too for everybody there. And then the overall flow feed was also pretty bullish, so seeing that stuff there. So idea was obviously, and for those not on Discord, this is kind of how I like to lay out my swing trade ideas. I'll always kind of put a little thesis in here and all that, kind of touch on the flow and put out some better contracts. And so Monday we gapped down, so I actually changed it to a momentum idea. So apparently I can't spell, but we were looking for a break above 37.77. So now let's take a peek at Delta. So here is Delta today. So here was Monday, so we obviously had that gap down. And I was looking for that 39.77, and I'll show everybody on my trading view chart here in a second. I just want to show everybody the contract movement here. So obviously we stayed down yesterday. Then this morning we had a quick run up. We triggered at 8:45, so we went with the 216, could have went with 40, 39 and a half call, whatever. So pull up that contract. Actually, we'll go over the movement first, then I'll go there. So this is, so going back to AMD, like this is something I would typically want. I want nice, solid time to be able to adjust and take stops out. So obviously we came up here, didn't really, I mean, we chopped, kind of came down a little bit, then we shot right back up, came back down. So, I mean, and I did put out notes again that this was going to be a day trade idea. So, more than likely, probably stops hit around in here. And if you held runners, obviously, you finished at pretty close to the high of the day. But, I mean, this is a very easy trade to size out of. Can always hold runners. You get those dips, stop's going to hit. If you leave runners, you're going to, I mean, you get the idea. Keep coming down, stops hit, start securing profits. You get the idea. So again, we triggered at 8:46 on the 40 calls. So it is 6 today. So 46. So I did get filled at 77, obviously. Where is my note here? So right there, filled 216 at 77. Came all the way up to 101 on the day. So pretty good return on those. A little over 20%. So not a bad trade. And even that's the nice thing about taking small stops too. So like with AMD, if you would have took a 10% stop, you make up for it with this one trade. So that's another key thing when you're trying to look for stops and all that stuff. So let's look at the chart now for Delta Airlines. So this was the daily chart that I pointed out in the group. So obviously, you can see we were in this uptrend going back to March of 2020 here. So coming down here, and way I drew that, obviously, just very simple. Just kind of take out the lows. Very simple right there. You don't want to go all the way out here and get all those, because you're missing a big chunk of information there, or data, whatever you want to call it. So I try to, when I try to draw my trends, I try to keep them in as much as I can. Oh, sorry. Keep it in as much as I can, so I can try to hit as many candles as possible without going really deep. So then also you can see this was a demand zone here. So demand, 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 demand up there, demand, 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 obviously a couple of rejections in there, demand there, rejection there, demand there, demand there, demand there. So that was kind of my view on the daily chart there. And obviously with the momentum entry, let me bring this down a little bit. This candle was not there, obviously. So I had this trend line drawn from the highs back to July of 2023. Oops, I can draw. Came down here, took out that high, took out these highs, and that candle, this last green candle obviously wasn't there because this is today. Bringing that right there. And here's our entry, 30, well, I had entry at 39.77, so 10 cents below me. I'm not going to get a good entry here. So, well, this was close. Okay, I'm going to try to mess it up, otherwise somebody's going to give me shit on Twitter. So, okay, close enough. You get the idea now. So, obviously, we wanted to see that break back above that trend, and then knowing there's a gap to fill, could see us enter that gap. So obviously we had that clean break. And yesterday we had a member also notice, they said, hey, the volume's about half of what it typically is. And obviously, digging back down, let me go back to the 4 hour chart. So this was, okay, I'm going to go back to the hour chart to show the volume a little bit better. So yesterday was the 6th. So here you can see. So here's your January, or yesterday was the 5th. God, it's only Tuesday and it's been a long day, but you can see we had obviously that good selling volume right at open, but then most of the volume through the day was pretty light. And then here we are this morning. Look at the big volume spike. What brought us up? Little lighter volume throughout the day there, and then a big spike in volume right at the end. So kind of, I mean, that's one thing you can always look at too, is kind of see how strong these sell-offs are, how strong the buying is, and all of that. So that's kind of all I have for the video tonight. I think we touched on everything. And yeah, I mean, for anybody, and also, well, we'll do a fun trade here. I mean, we had Amazon also. I mean, this got scratched, so I didn't look up the contracts, but as you can see, where is my day trade ideas? So, oh, well, guess somebody's going to get tomorrow's idea. Um, also had that Amazon at 168.12. I did end up scratching that though, but here's your trigger. Obviously, you had that one rejection, or second rejection, third rejection, and then would have had a spike there, and then a big spike towards the end of the day. But yeah, there was a lot of market weakness kind of throughout the day, and didn't really feel comfortable. Had two trade ideas kind of open. Everything was kind of pushing down, so kind of why I scratched Amazon there. But otherwise, that's all I have for tonight. Hope everybody enjoys this video. Hopefully, it helps you learn some stuff and helps you improve trading. Have a great day, everyone.